Hello, everyone. Seems like my computer is running a little slow, so hopefully this is all working for everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone had a fantastic holiday and a great Thanksgiving. So it's that time of year, right? It's the holidays. We just had fantastic Thanksgiving. We are coming upon Christmas already, which is crazy. And then we're going to slowly creep into 2019. How amazing and fabulous is that? Insane. So with that comes so many people potentially could be thinking about New Year's resolutions. Perhaps it's, I want to lose weight. I want to practice self-care. I want to learn a new skill. Perhaps many of us are considering changing jobs, and many of us don't even do New Year's resolutions. A lot of people don't believe in New Year's resolutions. Well, whether you have a New Year's resolution or not, we all have habits that either serve us or don't. So what about exploring ways to build good habits and break the ones that don't serve us, right? So I was listening to an amazing podcast by Rich Roll. And if you haven't listened to his podcast, listen to his podcast. He has some pretty amazing people on there, and he's pretty awesome too. His guest was James Clear, and he's the author of Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So that's definitely going to be next on my book list. So he shared 4 laws of adopting a good habit. So basically consider this toolbox of what we can practically do on a daily basis to build those good habits and break the ones that simply don't serve us. So over the next couple weeks, you know how I am, right? I like to share little bits at a time, maybe something easily digestible to work on for this next week. And I'll share the next 2 weeks or the following week, okay? So today I'll share James Clear's first 2 laws in adopting a good habit. And they're simple, but really great reminders. And maybe they aren't so simple. Maybe we haven't thought about them, okay? So the first law in adopting a good habit is make it obvious. Make it obvious. So what he explained and his strategy that he uses is called environmental design. Okay, so restructuring your physical environment to make the cues for your good habits obvious and the ones that don't serve you invisible. So I have an example here and just want to say hello to everyone. Jane, Judy, Nicole, Cody, hello. So for me, it was something so simple where I kept forgetting to take my daily vitamins. And why? Because they were invisible. They were in the cupboard. So I literally took out the vitamins that I needed to take on a daily basis out of the cupboard and put them next to where I always go every single morning, the coffee maker, and put those vitamins right next to it. Guess what? I take them every day. So it's something so simple, but you got to make those habits that you really want to continue on, good stuff, really, really visible. And the ones that don't serve you, invisible, right? So, James Clear used an example for breaking a bad habit, and I thought this was interesting because I wanted to share it with you. And now you just invert it rather than make it obvious, good habit, now you make it invisible. So he explained how he buys a 6-pack of beer, and he puts it on the top shelf of the refrigerator. He opens up the refrigerator and goes, I'll have a beer, right? And so he tested this where he bought his 6-pack of beer and put it on the bottom shelf of the refrigerator behind things and kind of hid it. So anytime he'd open his refrigerator, he didn't see it. So he had very few beers and it took a long time to finish a 6-pack. So it's like, wow, make it invisible. He goes, then I started thinking, why do I even buy beer? Right? So it starts to really challenge your way of thinking around those habits that don't serve you. So what if your goal is to lose weight? I know many of us, that is a goal of ours, right? And we want to not just lose weight, but keep it off. But we surround ourselves with the things that don't encourage that habit. So I remember when I first started working out and I lost my weight, what I would do every single morning is put my jogging shoes right in front of my bed. And this is going to be a little extreme, you guys, but I would sleep in the clothes that I was going to work out in. This is a long time ago. It worked. So I'd wake up, have my clothes on, put my shoes on, off I went. Very visible, right? So it's just around what are the things that you really need to make really, really, really visible for you to get into the habit, a good habit, okay? What are the things you need to hide? So how can you make your environment more obvious to help your goal in losing weight? And maybe in breaking bad habits, it's simply just not buying the food or the drinks that don't serve you. Rather than hiding them, don't buy them, right? That's completely invisible. So second law, so the first one, again, is make it obvious, right? The second law in adopting a good habit is make it attractive. This is a big one, you guys. So when you interpret behavior as being attractive, something you should move towards, then you'll have a reason to perform the action and you're motivated to do the actions. And this is a big one here. In many cases, the behaviors that are motivating us are dependent on the people we're around. And I've talked about this so many times on choose your tribe carefully, because if you're surrounding yourself by people who don't encourage the habits that you want to create, those good habits, what's going to happen? You probably will not be successful at that, right? So choosing your tribe. So the way James Clear shares it is, think about this is that we're all members of tribes, right? Some of the tribes are big, some of the tribes are small, right? The big tribes, what it's like to be an American or French, big tribes, right? Small tribes might be what it means to be a neighbor on your street or a member of your local Fit Body Boot Camp or who you are as a volunteer. What are those things? So all these tribes, though, large or small, have a shared set of expectations for what it means to be a part of that group, right? So when you belong to a tribe, when you have friends there and want to belong to that group, habits that align with the shared expectations of the tribe are very attractive and you want to do them. Habits that go against the grain of the shared expectations become very unattractive. So think about it. If, for example, I want to move towards a healthier life, I'm going to find a tribe that supports that. So maybe I feel I love going hikes. I love hiking. So I'm going to join what? A hiking group, right? I'm not going to go out and join a group that smokes a lot of cigarettes. Probably not, right? So they're going to, if I join that hiking group, they're going to encourage that healthy habit of hiking. The people in that tribe support it, right? So one of the ways to make habits more attractive is to join a group where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. To be with the crew where the habits you want to build are just normal. It's an everyday thing for them, okay? So basically, you're surrounding yourself with a physical environment, right? Make it obvious, that encourages a healthy behavior. And now you're surrounding yourself with people that reinforce that and make it more difficult for you to behave otherwise. So create your environment to support it, make it visible, and surround yourself by people that encourage it and support it, okay? So it's interesting too, in many ways, when we're young, a lot of our habits are not chosen, they're inherited, and they're passed down to us by whatever group we're a part of, right? So you start to get in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, and you start to question those habits. Do these habits serve me still? And it was interesting, when I was growing up, my mom did all the cooking and she made delicious foods, but they were not healthy, right? And I just thought, this is how people eat, right? And it wasn't until I was in my early 20s when I started to understand that I need to make different choices for me to be healthy. So those habits that I inherited, I broke, right? And I noticed when I started to shift how I ate, more healthy, how I moved and exercising, my tribe, I started to surround myself by people that really encouraged and embraced that, right? So I spent a lot of time with people like that focused on their health as well. And that helped me a lot stay ingrained in what I was doing, okay? So those are the first two steps in adopting a good habit. First one, make it obvious. Create the environment that supports your good habits. If you're having a hard time drinking water, which I know a lot of us do, keep your water bottle everywhere you go. It's a part of who you are, That's just an example. Okay, number two, make it attractive. How do we do that? Join a tribe that makes the good habit we want to support attractive. We do this by joining that tribe, therefore strengthening that good habit, okay? Now, everything that I'm sharing with you, and I know I do this in all my videos, I could share all this stuff, yeah, that's good, that's good. Or, I could never do something like that. Or, I just don't think I have what it takes to shift these habits. It's all about mindset. You can do anything you want to do when you change your mindset, you guys. You have that power. You have that power when you stop watching this video right now to absolutely make a shift right away. And with that, changes your life. Okay? So anything is possible. You have that power. Okay? It's nothing external of influence. Nope. It's what you do, what you decide. Okay? All right. So I hope that was helpful. Those are the first two. Next week, the next two. But again, focus on making your environment set up for the good stuff and start thinking about who you're spending time with. Right? Okay. All right. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you missed any of the videos, I have my YouTube channel, Karen Crutchfield Coaching. You can always catch up on those. Subscribe. That'd be awesome. Share it with people. Also awesome. And I'll talk to you next week. Have a fantastic rest of your week, everybody. Okay? Bye-bye.